met a lot of rash, bold men in my travels who paid a high price for their notorious reputations. But I've never met a man who has paid as much as you have. Was it worth it?
Have Gun. Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Daner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel. Headquarters of a man called Paladin.
It just isn't possible. It's ridiculous. Hey, yes, come in. Let me see you trying to the dresser again.
Mr. Paladin. Hey, Mr. Paladin, what's the matter? You crawl around on the floor like that?
Hey, boy, it just isn't possible. It's vanished. Completely vanished.
Oh, am I?
You slipped out of my hand. I was standing right there. But where is it? Where did the confounded thing go?
Oh, I'll help you look. Let's see now. Mr. Paladin, what we look for?
My collar button.
Oh, Lisa. Oh, let's see now. Oh, no.
It just isn't possible. And I'm due for my appointment with the Countess in 15 minutes.
Countess?
And the Right Honorable Countess of Dunkley Tatsboro. She sent me a note.
Oh, yes. She guests in hotel. She very nice lady.
Come in.
Oh, Mr. Paladin, I can roll now.
Maybe it's over.
What's the matter? You two crawl around on the floor like that?
Missy Wong, maybe you come back later. We're very busy.
Oh, but Missy Wong...
Hey, boys, quite right, Miss Wong. You've come at a rather bad time. Come back later, please.
Oh, all right. I go. Come back later. Oh, Mr. Paladin, you dropped the collar button on the floor. I put him here on the table. You'll be looking for that someday, maybe. Well, I come back when you're not so busy.
Are you smoking more now, but enjoying it less? Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. The best tobacco makes the very best smoke. Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. Are you looking for flavor and mildness? Have a real cigarette, have a Camel. The best tobacco makes the very best smoke. Have a real cigarette, a real cigarette, a real cigarette, have a Camel.
Again, for the 11th straight year, Camel outsold every other cigarette, filter, king size, and regular. The best tobacco makes the best smoke. So if you're smoking more now but enjoying it less, change to Camels. Get more real satisfaction every time. Start to really enjoy smoking again.
Have a real cigarette, a real cigarette, a real cigarette, have a Camel.
Thanks to Miss Wong, I arrived for my appointment promptly at 10. Lady May, the Right Honorable Countess of Dunkley Tatsboro, waited for me in her sitting room, stiffly erect in an enormous high-backed chair. She was every inch a noblewoman, a delicate, bird-like, lovely old lady with snow-white hair and alert blue eyes.
Well, sit down, Mr. Paladin.
Thank you.
You are the gentleman with the gun who travels?
Yes.
Rather an odd calling, but then I suppose it's only temporary.
Well, sometimes a business like mine can be very temporary.
Really? Oh, yes, of course. Well, Mr. Paladin, I am here in San Francisco for only one reason, to avail myself of your unusual services.
I'm flattered, Lady May.
My husband, the Earl of Dunkley Tatsboro, died 3 years ago. The title and estate, primogeniture, you know, passed to my eldest son, Gerald. Dear boy, Gerald, very much like his father. Stuffy and a bore, but a dear nevertheless. 6 months ago, Gerald met with an unfortunate shooting accident. Partridge.
Partridge?
On the moors in the mist. Who can see anything? Besides, Pamela's such a beastly, shod, detestable girl. I never did like her.
Pamela?
Gerald's wife. She shot him.
Oh, Oh, that was indeed most unfortunate. Yes.
So now the title and estate pass to my son Bertrand. That's where you come in. I want you to find him.
He's lost?
Oh, dear, no, he's somewhere in this splendid country of yours.
Well, it's quite a large country, you know.
Oh, my, yes, indeed.
Well, where would I start?